think there's a long list of reasons why traditional auto is in a tough spot. And I stand by.
Yeah, I just have to jump in here and say, look, if you haven't heard the news, Tesla is now partnering with GM and Ford on basically making the Tesla chargers and the Tesla supercharging network the ubiquitous standard of North America. This is remarkable because in Europe we use a completely different charging plug. In America, other companies use this different charging plug. But the Tesla charging plug has always been seen as exclusive to Tesla. Well, now all of a sudden, other car companies are actually going to adapt to be able to use the Tesla car charging standard, especially the car charging infrastructure, the actual destination chargers and the superchargers. Now, what I want to say is remarkable about why this is so impactful is two things. Number one, and this is why the stock is moving so much. Number one, obviously, we know that the Biden administration is desperate to get more electric vehicles out. But in order to get more electric vehicles out, you need more chargers. But GM and Ford can't even make a profitable electric vehicle. Ford doesn't expect to be profitable on electric vehicles until 2025. GM just dropped a bombshell and indicated they don't expect to be profitable on electric vehicles until the end of the decade. Unfortunately, every legacy auto bull had the impression that, oh, electric vehicles, well, of course, Ford and GM will lead the way because they have experience. You know what that's like? That's like the kind of crap I hear all the time when people are like, oh, that person's old, they have experience, and they'll be able to do the job right. I go, age means nothing. Don't ever age discriminate. They're old people who are very, very smart and very, very good at what they do. And they're old people who just rest on their laurels of their age. And then there are young people who are very, very smart and they can figure anything out. It's really incredible. And I think the same is true for companies, and we're seeing exactly that happen. So the Biden administration, in my opinion, is going to shower Tesla with tax credits directly from the Inflation Reduction Act. We know the Inflation Reduction Act has energy infrastructure investments slated for somewhere around $380 billion. However, remember what Goldman Sachs told us. Goldman Sachs told us that these energy infrastructure investments, thanks to loose interpretations of the rules passed via the Inflation Reduction Act, which was probably intentional. Remember, the Inflation Reduction Act was supposed to reduce spending, but thanks to loose interpretations by the Treasury Department after the law has become into effect, to the benefit of the Biden administration and, of course, energy companies, that money, according to Goldman Sachs, is not probably going to be $387 billion. It's probably going to be a lot more like $1.2, $1.3 trillion. In other words, 2 or 3x what the Biden administration and Congress had suggested the spending would look like. A lot of that money, I really believe, is going to get showered to Tesla to continue to build out superchargers. So even though other car companies are going to start using these Teslas, we're going to see 2, 3, 4, 5x the number of charging stations everywhere. This is really a win for everyone. Now, personally, I have a little bit of this, like, this innate. I think this is in nature, okay? I've personally gotten over it, but I do think it's innate. Like, you have this feeling if you have a Tesla, you're like, that's mine. Back off my charger. I want the charger available for me because I bought a Tesla, so back off. Take your Ford and GM somewhere else. Yes, that is a very real feeling that a lot of Tesla owners are going to have. They're going to feel this feeling of, wait a minute, like, okay, well, it's going to take time for you to build more chargers out. And that's true. There's going to have to be a balance in how they sort of release the availability of these network chargers to these other companies. It's not going to be overnight by any means. In fact, I looked on my map locally, and most of the Tesla chargers were locked to third-party vendors yet. And I think that's because they still want to build more infrastructure before burning the Tesla car owners. So I do think Tesla is managing that balance. And I think if you're a Tesla investor, you really have to trust Tesla to manage that balance and not worry about it. Now, but what I do think is really incredible, is the following. A Tesla requires you use the app in order to charge your non-Tesla, right? Well, watch this. So this is the Tesla app. Now, I'm going to take one finger, and there are two things that you could do with one finger on this app. Okay. Number one, you could kind of put it on the right side of the phone. And this is all about user interface, right? This is incredible. Watch this. If I put my finger on the right side of the phone and I swipe to the right, which is what you have to do, or I guess that would be a swipe to the left, but I move the screen to the right, in order to get to how to charge your non-Tesla, watch what happens. So I'm going to grab here. Oops, I accidentally clicked order now. Oh, was that intentional? Abso-frickin-lutely. Now I'm going to scroll my finger just one time. Oh, it also kind of ends on order now. All right, I'm going to keep scrolling. Oh, there it is. Charge your non-Tesla. So for you to actually get to charge your non-Tesla, you have the likelihood of accidentally clicking order now. But then if you swipe once, you still see order now. Or best case scenario, you have to swipe twice, which gives you plenty of an opportunity to happen to look at this order now button, which is actually very convenient because look at that. The first button is experience Tesla. Smart. Free test drive. Come on by anytime. Not that hard. Just click the button. Come experience a Tesla. Look at how smooth, by the way, the ordering screen is. You want to order, let's say, a Tesla Model Y? There you go. $7,500 tax credit, potential savings listed here, purchase price listed here. Hey, which model do you want? You know what? Okay, let's say you want the Model Y Performance. And you can scroll through this. I'm going to pick the blue one. You get to play with it right here and customize it as you wish right here. Get your autopilot if you so please or whatever, and then continue to order your Tesla. And you can, go ahead and summarize your order and basically put your $250 deposit down right now with Apple Pay. So 2 clicks after you accidentally click on order Tesla, when you really just meant to go charge your Ford or GM vehicle, you could be ordering a Tesla. So not only is Tesla going to get showered with vehicle credits from the Biden administration, but they're basically going to take these credits and build in a perfect advertising model into the actual app and then show off those additional federal tax credits, maybe even state tax credits that you get within an app where people are very likely to just accidentally press on order Tesla when they want to charge a non-Tesla. No, I don't think it's like they're trying to manipulate people to buy Tesla. They're just making it very convenient for people to buy Tesla. So remember, for you to charge your non-Tesla, you must download the Tesla app. And then you kind of have to scroll over to get to charge your non-Tesla. Now, it's possible that if you don't already have a Tesla, your Tesla's there on the left won't show up. So maybe it just starts like this, right? But still also brilliant because your first button here is order now or get Tesla insurance or Tesla shop. All of this is money for Tesla. You still have to scroll over to charge your non-Tesla, which is great. But not only that, think about the social aspect of this. You go plug in your Ford or whatever at a Tesla supercharger, and you get out and you see all the Teslas. It's going to be a great opportunity to sort of be like, oh, so how's that full self-driving? You realize a lot of people today, they still think full self-driving only functions on the highway. Full self-driving is phenomenal. I barely drive anymore, even in the cities. Everywhere I go now, and it didn't used to be this way, but everywhere I go now, I turn on, I put in a little address, and I set it to self-drive. And I just sit there like a supervisor. And it's great because it's taken so much of the anxiety of driving away and just sort of the effort of driving. Which I know that sounds on one hand crazy because some people are like, oh, come on, man. Like, what do you mean the effort of driving? Try FSD, and then you'll understand the effort that actually went into driving when you feel the effort of not actually driving. It's kind of like being a passenger in the front seat. It's almost what it feels like. Like you're kind of still looking around and you're like, oh, hey, heads up, that light is red, right? Like you see that, right? Oh, hey, that guy's coming over. That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like you're more of like a backseat driver in the front, than more than actually driving, which is incredible. But it's really what's fascinating is this will just be the beginning. So you've got Ford and GM. These will be the first movers, which is weird to say, but the first movers to follow the first mover of Tesla into the Tesla supercharging standard. That'll incentivize even more supercharging construction, incentivized by the Biden administration, so basically free supercharging networks, or near substantially subsidized, we'll put it that way. I don't want to say free. And then you've got these built-in basically ads here for basically buying your own Tesla in the Tesla app, which you need in order to charge a non-Tesla. And you need the app because the Tesla chargers, they don't have any kind of like stupid credit card window or whatever where the pain of paying is like super high for you to use the darn charger. That doesn't exist. In fact, Tesla was going to build some superchargers in a city in California. I can't remember which one, but the city required Tesla to put in some kind of like on-terminal payment infrastructure instead of using an app. And Tesla's like, F you. Screw you, you don't get superchargers then. Which is the right answer, because it's like, what a pain in the butt to go to, and I've done it before, but to go to a stupid supercharger, plug the thing in, and then you have to stand there and like, okay, I gotta now use my credit card, and I gotta enter it into this stupid machine or what, and all this crap. It's a pain in the butt. Whereas if you just had an app, click, all right, boom, plugged into number 7, great, boom, charge, done, and then you walk away. So great, so easy. Now with the Tesla, you don't even need to open the app. You just literally open the charge port, plug it in, walk away. Even better. So revolutionary. This is a big announcement from GM here to follow Ford as well. And it's likely now that you're going to see the Volkswagens, the European autos, and anyone else who wants to compete in the electric vehicle space in America to also at least provide the optionality to their customers. That's a big deal. It's going to be a selling feature. Hey, you get access to the Tesla Supercharger network. And quite frankly, it blows my mind because on one hand, if I'm GM and I'm like, buy our electric vehicle, but use Tesla Superchargers. Quite frankly, to me, there's nothing that screams dying company more than that. You know, to me, it'd kind of be like, use me as a real estate agent, but we're going to put somebody else's sign in front of your house because I suck. But I still want to be your agent. I still want to get your business. Like, to some extent, you really have to take an L here to accept these Tesla Superchargers. But they realize we're not profitable on the vehicles. We don't want to burn our investors for the next 10 years trying to build out a competing supercharging network. So screw it. Let's just buy Tesla. It's really incredible. Also remember that a lot of folks, in my opinion, when it comes to Tesla, have vastly misunderstood or vastly misappreciated what AI actually means. So remember, from a stock market point of view, right? Remember, artificial intelligence is fantastic. Look, I've got a course on how to make more money. It's our entrepreneur and employee course. Like, basically, if you want to make more money as an employee or you want to make more money as an entrepreneur, you join it, right? And so what I decided to do is I added about 35 lectures, and we probably got another 15 in the works or so to the feature the AI productivity group. And it's great because rather than just like, oh, like here's the latest and greatest, tool you're going to use for 20 minutes, this is actually like, oh, wow, here's how I can really incorporate AI to actually make more money. That's the sole basis of every lecture in that program on AI is like, how do we actually make more money? But I'll tell you, one of the big, and this is a little hint for you, one of the spoilers in it is that I say in almost every lecture, this is not about the tool. This is about how to use the AI. And that's because, and I say this as well, I don't give an HE double hockey sticks what tool it is. I don't care. We have zero loyalty to the tool. We have loyalty to us being educated on how to use it better to be more efficient entrepreneurs or employees. That's what matters. Now, that is a big red flag to software companies in AI. Listen, I saw a thing on Y Combinator yesterday or whatever that 50% of the startups are like, we're AI startups. It's all bullshit. Like, the odds of these companies making a lot of money in just AI is stupid. The reality is, good companies will use AI to make themselves more productive. But just AI software companies and trying to make a buck with an AI software company, good luck. Because you're begging people for like $5 subscriptions all over the place. And then 2 weeks later, somebody just makes a better version of your own app. And then you have to then you go bankrupt, basically. Point is, and this loops back to Tesla, everybody's forgetting that Tesla is actually your profitable version of an artificial intelligence service. Everybody forgot that. I didn't. I'm like, folks, this AI craze is literally exactly what you want. with Tesla to boost Tesla stock. In fact, I did a Yahoo Finance interview, and you could find it. Look at this, 3 weeks ago. Nobody believed it. Nobody believed it. Everybody got mad at me. Whatever. But look at this. Go to Yahoo Finance. Tesla will be the best AI play of the next decade, Kevin Paffrath says. May 17th. See, it's June 7th, 3 weeks ago. May 17th. Kevin Paffrath, financial analyst, YouTube host, blah, blah, blah. You know, and then basically we talk about the shareholder meeting and this video we went on. And I talk basically about how, you could just look up the interview. But I basically talk about, is this it? I think this is it. Oh, yeah, hey, look, there's me. But anyway, we talk a little bit about Tesla advertising and it being the best AI play because they actually make money off the AI. And just like I talked about how functional the FSD is becoming, where else could you potentially sell an AI product for $15,000? Remember what I just set up. A lot of the little AI crap tools and startups are trying to, sell you like AI blowjobs for $5. Okay, those are sloppy. That's nasty. Okay, whereas over here at Tesla, they'll sell you a $15,000 one, and they actually get it, or they charge you $200 a month. Like, all of a sudden, you start thinking about it. Like, damn, didn't even think about it. If you're gonna invest in software companies, where are you gonna get the bigger money? Tesla. So very, very exciting. That's something to keep in mind. Beyond obviously chips, even Elon Musk himself is complaining about a lack of chips, and that's all going to obviously increase order demand on companies like AMD, maybe to some nominal extent your IBMs and your Intels, obviously more like your NVIDIAs, your TSMCs. Elon Musk partnered with, he bought some server space over at Oracle for his AI startup, his sort of like, open AI competitor, if you will, which it seems to be more of like the foundational part rather than like let me sell you the $5 service on top of AI, the AI backend. And he's like, we can't get enough chips over here at Oracle to actually, sufficiently establish the servers that we're trying to build out. So I do think there'll be shortages as well, which will bode well for chip makers. But again, this is why I've regularly said, look, if you want to invest in AI, and I've been saying this since like November, chips and Tesla. But again, that's just my opinion. I know it's worked out very well so far, but at some point that will stop, and that's at some point we're going to go back to realizing, oh crap, we do also have to consider valuation. Darn. So, I mean, look at valuation for a moment. So Tesla's projecting $3.45 of EPS. The sucker's now at $250. Honestly, it could go to $400 by the end of the year, which is insane. But it could. And honestly, I mean, I look at it, I go, Tesla, I mean, if Tesla's start gonna over $300, I'm gonna be like, all right, we're gonna start getting to the point where it's maybe eventually going to be time to start diversifying at least a little bit away. But anyway, so at $250 divided by $3.45 of EPS, we're looking at a 72 forward PE ratio. Now, we are looking at about 35% growth, so we're at a 2 peg. Tesla literally went from a 1 to 1.4 peg to a 2 peg very, very quickly. And I actually think right now it's mostly running because of this realization that the legacy companies just aren't winning. It's not even really running on the AI revolution yet. That part hasn't even been built in yet. That's even more wild. So, things to keep in mind. I mean, look at this. Tesla right now in pre-market is up 6.2%. NIO's down 1.28%. I mean, we already talked about NIO in the Chinese segment, about how they need 35% annual growth for the next 5 years just to break even at their level of operating expenditures of $3 billion. That's insane. That's a lot of growth they got to get to. It's because their gross profit's like $700 million right now compared to for 2022 compared to $3 billion of OpEx. It's crazy. It reminds me actually a lot of what some startups do, which I absolutely despise. Like, I hate seeing this crap. It just pisses me off. But I see some startups out there. What they do is they raise money, and then they don't actually have like a product that's good, but they just like exist for 10 years. And then they just pay themselves salaries and live off of that. And I'm like, well, any startup I do is going to be the opposite of that. I'm not going to take a salary, and we're going to minimize expenses, and we're actually going to have a product or service that actually makes real money. The same is true, for example, for House Hack. Like, I don't take a salary over there. We don't spend that money. Like, I look at every penny of that. If investor money is precious, but other people just look at it as, hey, I was able to market to them, and therefore I'm gonna, live off that. And I'm like, that's janky. But, that exists. So anyway, obviously do your due diligence when you're investing. There are plenty of other great startups out there. I'm not saying everybody else is bad and only Kevin's good. That's not what I'm saying. I want to be clear about that. There are plenty of other great things to invest in. But this is great. This is absolutely great for Tesla. I don't even think the artificial intelligence part has been priced in yet. But I just want to reiterate that, and hopefully that's a little bit more clear. Because again, I really want you to think about, when you think about AI in your life, well, the first thing you should be thinking about is, I got to get into Kevin's programs. They're really good. It amazes me how many emails or messages we still get of people like, I finally joined and I was suspicious. And then I joined my first course member live stream. I'm like, oh, damn, there actually is a lot of value here. It's rewarding to hear that. But it's also a sign that maybe I'm not marketing that as well as potentially could. But anyway, I really want you to think about it to yourself. Where in your life right now are you paying for artificial intelligence? What are you paying? $20 for OpenAI? $5 for this? $10 for that? $10 over there? $19 over there? And then compare that to what Tesla's charging for their AI. It's incredible. I mean, you're talking about 10 to 20x. So consider that. Somebody here saying Qualcomm is the hidden AI stock. Qualcomm, I don't know about that. You're certainly a 5G and mobile-centric company here. A lot of revenues coming from cell phones, handsets as they call them, which I always think is a weird word, handset. But if you look at their earnings reports, you'll see they call them handsets. We've gone through Qualcomm quite a few times, as well as Broadcom over the last few weeks here, just to evaluate their AI-ness, so to speak. And we're like, I mean, look, every company's trying to say they're doing AI. Look at DocuSign this morning. I mean, DocuSign beat, but they're like, we're using AI. And I'm like, really? Your forms still suck. Don't get me wrong, I love DocuSign. They made my life so much easier when I started as a real estate broker 13 years ago. Oh man, that sounds horrible to say. But anyway, yeah. Oh, Scott, thank you for saying that. Just saying, Kevin has the greatest value info for the money you pay. That I have found. Now, I want you to know this. When it comes to AI, time is what's going to make you money. And if you can prove that value to an employer, you'll always be able to be employed. So this is another way of making sure that you don't get replaced